The battle lines are being drawn in Lansing as negotiations continue to balance the state's budget in the midst of a struggling economy.
For lawmakers and the governor, the question is, should services be cut or should taxes be raised? Both ideas have their share of opponents and have people lobbying the decision makers.
We have team coverage tonight, starting with 24-hour News 8's political reporter Rick Albin, who spent the day at the Capitol. Rick, where do things stand right now?
It's all a numbers game, Susie. 6 days to go, $3 billion short, 110 members in the House, 37 members in the Senate. They have to come to some kind of a compromise. So do you raise taxes or do you cut services? Some say that cutting services is the only way to go, but now that those tough cuts are in front of them, they may be too difficult to put the numbers on the board. Let's hear from a couple of members of the House about what they had to say about this process.
I certainly hope that we don't have to go to a continuation budget. I think the people out there in the state of Michigan expect action from their leaders, and I think just start putting up the budgets for votes, and we'll see where that gets us.
Everything is still moving forward. Everybody's committed to getting this done. I don't necessarily believe we can get all the pieces together by October 1st, but we are making progress. Everybody's committed to getting this done in a bipartisan fashion.
Representative McDowell chairs the Committee on Community Health, and he's very concerned about cutting money, for example, to nursing homes. Later you're going to hear about concerns about cutting schools and corrections and Michigan State Police and health care and everything else in a $45 or $46 billion budget. But the question is, if you don't cut, where do you raise taxes? Do you raise sales tax, income tax? Do you raise fees? There are a lot of tough questions that have to be asked. They have to be answered in the next 6 days. House has gone home for the day. They'll be back bright and early tomorrow. Senate is going to pass out some of those reconciliation bills, but there won't be any big change in the budget until we get back here tomorrow and they start meeting again. In Lansing, I'm live. Back to you.
Rick, where you stand right now, what you've been able to observe, is it possible to do this with just cuts, or are there going to have to be hikes in fees and taxes?
Well, it is theoretically possible to do it with just cuts and using stimulus money. Remember, the cuts they're talking about $1.2 billion. That would left the rest to be backfilled with some stimulus money. I don't know if the votes are there. You got to get to 56 in the House. It's a very, very tall hill to climb. I know today they certainly didn't think they had enough votes to get that K through 12 budget passed, which would have over $200 per pupil cuts. So we know getting the votes on the board is going to be difficult. If I had to guess, I would think there'll have to be some more revenues somewhere, sometime.
All right, Rick Albin reporting live from the Capitol, talking about the education aspect of it. I'll hand it over to Brian for that. Right?